to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I hope all of you that are listening are doing well. I hear from you, I hear from many of you throughout the week, and it is just so encouraging to hear what's going on in your lives and how this show is impacting you and some of the topics you want us to talk about. And I really appreciate that. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. I want to thank all of you that leave messages on our radio show phone line. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us anytime at 612-999-3426. We look forward to hearing from you. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our shows on the AM 950 radio website, and we can also be found on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and many other podcast and streaming services. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Dr. Emily Stein. She is a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC, a biotech company focused on alleviating oral health disparities and improving the quality of life and longevity for its customers by producing innovative, cost-effective oral care products. Now, this is going to be a fascinating show, folks. You're going to learn things that you didn't realize you didn't know, and this is going to be very, very important. This is life-changing about the things that Dr. Stein is going to talk to us about today. So you'll enjoy hearing this. And if you have questions, you got to be sure and give us a call. Before we begin our conversation with Dr. Stein, I want to mention our new website has been launched, and you can find us at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about our upcoming guests, as well as listen to my previous interviews. That's livinghealthyradio.com. You have two ways to get your questions answered today. First, you can ask your question live on the air by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show producer, Patrick, will get your call on the air. The number here to get your questions answered live on the air is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Or you can directly text me your question at 612-999-3426. Please do not wait till the show's ended to call or ask us your questions. We often receive many of the same questions after the show has ended. So if you have a question, many others do as well. All right. I want to introduce my guest today, Dr. Emily Stein, scientist and co-founder of Primal Health. It's a biotech company focused on helping people with their oral health. And we're going to talk about what that means and why it's important throughout the show today. So any of you out there that have any questions about oral health, give us a call. Doctor, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
Yes, we thank you for coming here on a sub-zero day.
Yes.
Anyway, let's, before we get into our conversation, my audience loves to hear a bit about you, your background, and would you just share with us, how you started your life and how you then got inspired to go the direction that you ended up going?
Sure. I'm actually born and raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Went to the University of Iowa, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, took a microbiology class, and then it's like that epiphany that fit really well with my passions, and barely had to study for microbiology. That's completely unheard of. So completely nerded out, University of Iowa, got into a laboratory, studied tuberculosis, was fascinated by something I couldn't even see that could just linger in someone's lungs for decades before they succumbed to the bacterium. And it both frightened me and really intrigued me. And so I followed up that passion and pursued a doctorate in microbiology at Berkeley. I spent 6 years studying how microbes work together in a community to survive against stress, such as nutrient deprivation or exposure to heavy metals or radiation, and antiseptics and antibiotics. And after I was done nerding out on microbes, I actually switched gears a little bit. Autoimmune disease runs in my family, and my best friend, who was my grandmother, had rheumatoid arthritis, and so I wanted to really understand why my grandmother hurt so badly, and try to help other people's grandparents and older parents. And so I went to Stanford for 7 years and studied rheumatology at the School of Medicine, focusing on rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and MS. And then while I was there, my grandmother, she was in La Crosse, Wisconsin, at an assisted living facility, and I thought she was rocking it. She was still kicking my butt every day on online Scrabble, but one day she didn't play, and it turned out she had had a stroke. And digging deeper, realized that it was actually due to what's called periodontal disease, also known as gum disease. So she'd had some significant problems managing her own oral hygiene. Her hands were so gnarled from her rheumatoid arthritis that she couldn't hold a toothbrush effectively and brush her own teeth anymore. And in assisted living, no one, if you're unable to care for yourself, no one cares for you. And so that was a real shock for me. And I literally got on a plane, flew to Wisconsin, and I grabbed my grandma's biofilm with a sterile swab, protected it, and then eventually flew it back to California and biohacked my grandmother's oral microbiome. Because, long story short, one of the root causes of this is the microbial side of things that causes chronic inflammation. And so both of my scientific career areas of expertise were kind of coming together with my grandmother's crisis.
Boy, so many times I'm talking to guests, and it's something that a challenge they face, either they or their family, that changes the direction or reinforces the direction in their life. And it's just so fascinating how that, because it puts a passion in you.
Oh, yeah.
Either it's an urgency to solve a problem, or you realize this is affecting many other people, and all of a sudden you have the empathy of what other people are facing. So it's just, again, fascinating how your story parallels so many other stories and interviews I've had about that. Well, you mentioned some words in there in that description that we may want to explore a little bit. Sure. Here. People may not quite understand things like microbiome. Mm-hmm. Would you mind just talking a little bit about Sure. what a microbiome is? I think it's becoming more prevalent in the conversations in society, but a lot of people just don't quite understand what that really is. And here we have a scientist who can explain that for us.
Right. So if you so the microbiome is the community of microbes that inhabits an organism, a human, a dog, a cat. And it lives all over us. It coats our skin, lives in our mouth, our gut. We hear a lot about gut health and gut microbiome. That's an example. So it turns out that these microbes, they actually outnumber us on a cell-for-cell basis in genetic capability. So, and we're learning more and more every day about how they really drive us and our health or disease states. And so, for instance, they're involved in everything from our own gene expression, telling our nerves what to do, telling us we're hungry, digesting our food for us before we can absorb it, protecting us, or causing disease.
Okay, so, where do I go with here? Because people there's almost like a germophobia. I mean, okay, so here we are post-pandemic, wherever we're at in that process. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like it's heightened people to kind of crazy levels. I go to the health club and I see people, spending 5 minutes wiping down the treadmill that they've been on. Yeah. The actual treadmill, not the handles, not the buttons that you touch, but down on their hands and knees wiping where their shoes were. And I'm just thinking, is that necessary? Again, I don't know. But I think, what was it, 150 years ago, we kind of got into this germ theory started about, late 1800s or early 1900s, turn of the century. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh my gosh, we got to kill all these germs. And then at some point we realized, well, wait a minute, like you say, the germs outnumber, a germ being what? Bacteria, viral, fungi, all
parasite,
kinds of things.
Yep.
Yeah, parasite. They outnumber us, all of our cells, and we have what, 1 trillion cells or whatever the number is. It's a huge number.
Yes.
But I think people are starting to maybe come to the point where we have to kind of coexist. And how do we coexist? And then how do we keep things from getting out of balance? Mm-hmm. Because I hear so much over the last couple of years about viral load. If you have a excessive viral load, then you're susceptible to getting whatever virus that is out there. Help us maybe. And we've got the last 30 seconds or so. Maybe we'll roll this topic into the next segment.
Sure.
How's that sound?
Okay.
Because I got more to talk about here. All right, it's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Dr. Emily Stein, who's a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC. If you have a question for Dr. Stein, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. You're listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well. I'm Ken Hageland.
SeniorCommunities.guide is your free online website to find housing, care, and resources for seniors in Minnesota. Use the powerful, award-winning search tool to quickly improve your search. You will have all the information you need to contact providers directly without any hassle. Start your search now at SeniorCommunities.guide and follow us on Facebook for interesting articles, helpful advice, and how older adults are changing the world.
SeniorCommunities.guide.
Crooner Supper Club, with its new Maggie's Lounge and a host of other amenities, reopens its popular outdoor tent, the Belvedere, in May. With its refreshing lake breezes and stunning views, plus full dinner and cocktail service, the Belvedere is ideal for romantic dates and social gatherings. Named one of the world's top jazz venues by Downbeat Magazine, Crooners features a variety of big-name local and national artists on 3 concert stages. Pick the experience that's right for you at croonersmn.com. Crooner Supper Club, a little piece of old-school nightlife in the 21st century.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the metro. Ryan is so excited about working with AM 950 and our listeners that he wants to help us grow.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow this summer, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Accept your intelligence.
Coming up, the scandalous truth about memoir.
I could never write a memoir. Why would anyone do that?
Don't you think we can learn from other people's experiences?
Learn from a bunch of lies and self-deceptions?
Ray Briggs, My Life as a Skeptic. I think you should write it.
The truth about memoir. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Philosophy Talk. Every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 950.
Graduation season is here, and if you're struggling to find a gift for the grad in your life, try Next Chapter Booksellers. Not only does Next Chapter Booksellers have a large selection of books for any taste, they also have a variety of graduation cards. Not sure what kind of book to get your grad? The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations. So stop by Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul for your graduation gift. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today is Dr. Emily Stein. She is a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC, a biotech company focused on alleviating oral health disparities and improving the quality of life and longevity for its customers by producing innovative, cost-effective oral care products. If you have a question for her, please give us a call, 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Dr. Stein, if our listeners have questions and they want to get a hold of you after the show or your organization, what's the best place for them to begin their search, or how to contact you?
Yeah, so our website is primalhealthllc.com. That's a great place to look first. The Contact Us button. Click it, and I will wind up getting that. You can also email us at info@primalhealthllc.com. We respond daily to that. You can give us a call on our phone.
All right. And you are located here in the Twin Cities.
Yes, we're in Northeast Minneapolis.
Right, which is a lot of fun. A lot of times I'll get guests on who are located in San Diego or whatever, and it's always fun to have local people on the show. All right, we were talking about the microbiome last segment. We could do a whole show on the microbiome and bacteria and germ theory and kind of where we're at now in our understanding of the body. And people, I think don't realize we're still at the beginning of learning about us.
Yes.
This topic, microbiology and the things that you have learned has just driven you into learning more and more and more. And what has come from that is ideas and innovation and the solutions in helping people with their oral health. And I wanted to talk about that here because your company focuses on health disparities.
Yes.
And could we maybe talk about, what some of those disparities are and what are people thinking when they have a health disparity? I mean, everyone has health concerns. Some may be minor, some may be major. And a lot of times the minor ones become major ones. And maybe talk about how your products can help with people managing that.
Yeah. So when you think about health disparities, there's economic, there's social, there's cultural. We've been focusing on what we call vulnerable populations, which are adolescents with dental appliances, Invisalign or braces. As a kid, I had braces. They're prone to cavities, gum erosion, and that gum tissue doesn't grow back. And it's a very precious protective barrier that we all have in our mouths. And I walking around with people that aren't taught to brush their teeth on a regular basis or aren't taught to focus on gum health and don't even know what that looks like. We're all taught cavities as kids, but teeth are really durable compared to the gum tissue. The bacteria in the mouth, for instance, with my grandmother, they burrowed through her gums, got into her blood vessels, and then eventually triggered stroke, which is blood clot in the brain, or hemorrhagic. So what we do know now from decades of research is that plaque in your mouth can lead to plaque in your arteries.
And that's why the dentist will ask you, do you have, before you get a dental appointment, they'll ask you, do you have any heart conditions? Or they'll ask you some of the health issues, right?
They will, because getting a dental cleaning, in some cases, you'll temporarily, transiently wound the tissue, bacteria go inside. So in order to see a single blood cell come out of a wounded tissue, that thousands of bacteria can fit through that same hole that one red blood cell came out, to give you a sense of scale.
Right.
And they don't just stay in your mouth. They invade.
Well, that's how they live. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they reproduce, and we'll talk about maybe about the impact of that in a person that's not in equilibrium, in a homeostasis state of health. Okay. So let's talk a bit about your research and all this kind of culminated in a product
Yes.
that you guys have.
Yes.
And I want to get that out here so people kind of know where we're going with some of this discussion that we're having. Can you talk about the germination and the evolution of the product that you have?
Yeah. So when my grandma had her stroke, I looked to see what she could take to maintain the health or the status of her gum tissue and the teeth that were remaining in her mouth. She was by this time in a nursing home. So there was then some help for her on a daily basis when they could get to her, because they have a lot of other priorities. So that's a whole other topic for another show to cover, but that's a highly illuminating. And so needed to find something that would not be toxic, that she could use on a daily basis, that would target the root cause of the inflammation and the tissue damage, which is actually focusing on the microbes that inhabit the mouth. And again, using the rheumatology experience and all of that work I did at Berkeley with studying and understanding how bacteria can design around things like antibiotics super quickly, came up with a different kind of an approach. We're calling it SMART. It's a very selective microbial approach. We're actually going after the metabolism of the microbes using a carrot and stick approach, kind of like, managing unruly kids, same thing, and with unruly microbes. We're actually going and we're trying to feed them the food we want them to eat to produce things that don't cause inflammation, that actually help grow the good bacteria in that biofilm or microbiome that helps protect its host. And at the same time, we're disrupting eating behaviors and nutrient cycles that actually cause and drive inflammatory responses and tissue damage over time. So that dual approach is super important for getting a faster response. And so for Grandma, we screened her microbiome, found what it should eat. It came to some simple ingredients: a fiber, a vitamin, and a little bit of bicarbonate to neutralize the harmful acids that bacteria make, and use it in an approach to synergistically dampen the harmful bacteria's effects and uplift and grow and encourage the growth of the microbes we wanted to inhabit her mouth to protect her for years to come. And so put that in a simple lozenge she could suck on every day, 3 times a day after she ate or had her coffee. She liked milk and sugar. Sugar tends to be one of the main culprits.
Yeah, right. That's very acidic. Yeah.
Yeah. And our approach is just to really improve that and for improved balance.
All right. We're going to continue that conversation here, folks. All right. We're got time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Dr. Emily Stein, a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC. And we'll be right back. If you have any questions for Dr. Stein, please give us a call, 952-946-6205. My name is Ken Hageland, and you're listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
I'm Candy Brothel, publisher of the Twin Cities edition of Natural Awakenings magazine and host of Green Tea Conversations, a news show for people who are on a journey to take responsibility for their health and play a more active role in their family's well-being. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I interview local experts who share the latest in natural holistic approaches in a fun and informative way. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
Hello, this is Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Now my show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11 and replayed on Sundays from 1 to 2. You will get to the best of Ellie 2.0 with talking about idealism with guests who come in and who are idealistic, who are trying to change the world. And you will get me, Super Idealist. Tune in. We can't wait to hear from you. And you'll hear from me Saturdays from 10 to 11. Hi,
Hi, this is Paul Metza. Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour for the last 5 years on AM 950. We air every Saturday night at 6 p.m. We have artists, musicians, private detectives, politicians, and more. On AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
The Park Tavern in St. Louis Park is your summer destination. The patio is amazing, perfect for you and your friends to grab dinner and drinks. Enjoy a game of cornhole while you indulge in the great food. The full Park Tavern menu is available outside. The Park Tavern also has live music on the patio every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even some Mondays through the summer. Reservations are highly recommended. And if the weather does turn, the bowling lanes at the Park Tavern are always open and are spectacular. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, the perfect summer is waiting for you at the Park Tavern.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean-burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Folks, welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today is Dr. Emily Stein. She is a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC, a biotech company focused on alleviating oral health disparities and improving the quality of life and longevity for its customers by producing innovative and cost-effective oral care products. If you have a question for Dr. Stein, please give us a call. This is the third segment, and we only have one more segment left. So if you have a question, please give us a call, 952-946-6205. Or you can text us your questions at 612-999-3426. Okay, before we return to our conversation with Dr. Stein, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with innovative and comprehensive end-of-life health care. The team at Minnesota Hospice has been helping patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life health care services. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. Hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services to your home with no cost to you or your family. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the caring team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, Dr. Stein, how can our listeners find more information about your company and you, and what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so you can just Google primalhealth.com, or you can just go to primalhealthllc.com. You'll find a Contact Us button that contains just an email. You can message us right away. It comes to our email immediately, or you can give us a call.
All right, thank you. Okay, there's just so much. I always tell listeners that if you could only hear the conversations we have in between the segments during the commercial breaks, that's what we should air. There's just so much to talk about here, and we'll have to have you back if you're interested, because I remember when I was 5 years old, my grandfather took me aside. This was before he passed, and he said, "I want to give you some advice. Take care of your teeth and your feet, and you'll live a happy life. And at 5 years old, I had no idea what that meant. I thought, okay, brush your teeth and my feet. But now as I'm taking, as I'm involved in end of life care and elder care, and you realize you lose your ability to eat or to have healthy oral and your ability to be mobile, to walk around. So simple things, but boy, when you lose those, a lot of joy goes out of life. And so that's why I was so fascinated to have you on the show, because we're learning so much about our oral health. And it's like almost everything that enters our body comes through our mouth.
Yeah.
And if we just had more awareness and understanding of what that is, I think that would be so beneficial for, like you say, it really helps improve your quality of life and the longevity of your life.
Absolutely. With every, the data is really strong. Every single tooth that you have to get extracted shortens lifespan. So it is a very important goal to try to maintain as many of your teeth as possible in your mouth.
Wow. And there's been so much done in terms of mouthwashes, and there's all kinds of things there that have been promoted. I mean, if you go on any online service and you do mouthwash, there are 10,000 products.
Yeah, it's insane.
So there's, as we talked, there's a huge unmet need though in people with a home care, doing things for themselves versus maybe going and dealing with some very expensive treatments and things. But what are some things that people can do to help with maintaining great oral health? And one of those is your product. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit more here, and so people can understand what this is. And it's basically tablets that it's like a lozenge. You just put in your mouth and it dissolves in your mouth, and then it basically rebalances in a sense your mouth, and also helps to attack the bad substances in your mouth. Mm-hmm. And could we just explore more about that so that people really kind of understand what we're talking about?
Sure. So when we talked about the microbiome, the mouth is actually the second most highly abundant source of microbiome in the body. So we're dealing with trillions of microbes that live not just on your tongue, not just on your teeth, but also way below your gum line. So 60% of the tooth is actually below your gum line. And dentists, dental hygienists can't even reach those microbes down there that coat the root of your tooth. And so what we're focused on is to try to feed and encourage and select for the kinds of microbes we know will protect that tooth and the gum tissue surrounding that tooth in a person's mouth. And so this lozenge, like I mentioned, contains a formulation of what's called prebiotic, which are nutrients that specifically feed good bacteria.
Okay, versus a probiotic.
Versus a probiotic, which is a living organism. Because we already have living organisms in our mouths. And so our approach is very, very different, where we're trying to feed the good and grow the good, and at the same time simultaneously starve the bad through cutting off their sugar supply. Sugar is in all of our foods. The microbes eat it quickly. I literally cannot move fast enough in the lab and to measure. They're already chomping away at it, fermenting it, and secreting out acids. And acids, we know, cause massive inflammation, loosen that barrier function in the gum tissue, and make leaky gums. You've heard of leaky gut, probably?
Yes, right.
Well, leaky gums is gingivitis.
Okay. So, and so here's the thing, as I'm thinking about it in my mind here, we're brushing our teeth and we're flossing our teeth, but we're not touching that 60%, the majority of where the tooth lies in its root.
Yep.
And how that attaches then to your jaw bones, which attaches to your skull and your head. So even if people are doing call it religious tooth care, they're still missing something even with doing flossing and brushing.
Yeah, it's just not enough. I mean, if you look at this epidemiologic statistics, it's folks who brush their teeth and floss on a regular basis, ideally, we're flossing and brushing 3 times a day or more, because those bacteria, like I said, don't stop. And you're able to really probably get about 45% of the tooth surface by doing that work. But nothing is available for us that can go below the gum line to really, the mouthwashes on available right now go after trying to kill 99.9% of germs, things like that. They're killing the good that we want to grow.
That was my next question.
Yes.
Right, that's my next question. That's why I did 10,000 mouthwashes out there. But are they really doing what the consumers are thinking it's doing?
Yeah.
It gives them fresh breath for a little bit.
One of the biggest brands was first developed as a floor cleaner. They converted it into a mouthwash. Yeah,
Wow.
it's $1 billion product.
You're right. Good repurposing there.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Okay. So again, just trying to get people to understand, we're not advocating not to brush or not to. No, but we're saying to supplement that with
we need supplementation.
Yeah, with your product can really go beyond what you're doing. And so again, let's talk about it. It's called Daily Dental Care, right?
Yeah, really generic name.
Right. But it's easy to find.
Easy to find.
You've
on Amazon. We're on the International Space Station right now.
Well, let's talk about that, because I know you're doing a lot. You're having a lot of studies done about your innovative technology here, your innovative product. Let's talk about that. The space station, and what other things are you guys involved
Orthodontics,
with?
Elder care. So independently living older adults, trying to keep them in their homes longer and healthier. And one of the best ways to do that is to focus on the oral hygiene.
Right. If they could just do that and just move. They got to move.
You have to move.
But here's what happens, too. They have, like a relative went through this. They had dental problems and they couldn't eat.
Yes.
Well, at some point, as we know in our practice, you stop eating, stop drinking, stop moving.
Nutrition suffers.
Well, yeah, and there's a quick decline then. So, it's really important to be taking care of yourself that way. So it's interesting, though, that you're focused on a lot of different areas. I mean, it's not, you mentioned at the outset, the vulnerable population.
They're vulnerable, though.
No,
astronauts, older adults, and adolescents.
There's no dentist up in the space station. But as you mentioned, the kids. I mean, this really affects everybody at all ages.
Kids don't learn as well if they have cavities. That's a proven fact.
Interesting. Yeah, right. So your product. So let's talk about, we got a couple minutes left in this segment. So how do you take your product? How does it work? I mean, how do you as a consumer, what do you do? Do you before bedtime or?
Yep. So this is the concept is we're not treating the human, we're not treating the mouth, we're treating the microbes.
Okay.
So it's a micro-dosing approach for the microbes that inhabit the mouth, which means that our product works best after you've brushed your teeth, or if you're unable to brush your teeth after you've eaten, pop it. Before you go to bed, take it right away, because those bacteria do not stop churning out acid when you're sleeping.
Right.
So this is the best way to stop them from making that inflammatory product.
Right. So I think we had talked about it actually stops it for quite a while. It's not like it doesn't stop it like for 5 minutes. It has a lingering effect.
Yeah. So the underlying disease process all comes down to microbes in the mouth and below the gum line eat dietary sugar or sugars in the saliva that come through the digestive process in the bloodstream. And they get access to that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
And so our approach, we found this soluble fiber. It's a safe ingredient. It's a food product. And if it's provided in a highly purified form, can actually block the ability of fungus like yeast and candida or E. coli or gum disease or cavity-causing bacteria from eating that sugar and converting it to things that cause inflammation and disease.
And inflammation is just such a driver for so many chronic illnesses.
Many, very many.
And if you can stop that in the mouth, does that help the body recover or not recover, but prevent it from escalating?
Yes, there's a lot of links between oral health and systemic health.
Okay. Boy, a lot of questions here. We got to take a short break here. Dr. Emily Stein is a scientist and co-founder here, and she is available to answer your questions. So if you have a question, please give us a call, 952-946-6205. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well. I'm Ken Hageland.
We use technology every day to help manage our lives. Why not use it to help manage your medications? St. Paul Corner Drug offers several free tools to keep you on track while taking your medications. Use our mobile app to quickly order a refill, or the Meds on Q application, which turns your smartphone or tablet into your very own personal medication attendant. Email and text messaging options let you know when your medication is ready for pickup, making efficient use of your time. St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be.
Now, more than ever, we are being faced daily with the topic of human mortality, and for many people, estate planning has been top of mind. Getting your estate planning done now can be easy and cost-effective. Schroman Law offers virtual options for initial consultations so that new clients can safely initiate the process. With many facing uncertain financial situations, Schroman Law also offers affordable fees for legal documents. Learn more at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us.
The next time you're out in South Minneapolis, make Nightingale off 26th and Lyndale your go-to dining option. It's a comfortable neighborhood restaurant that features a delicious menu of American classics, plus a wide drink and cocktail selection. Nightingale has dining room and bar seating available, plus takeout and delivery. Current hours are 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with the full menu until midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
Join Twin Cities Pride for their 50th anniversary Grand Marshal celebration on June 9th from 7 until 9 p.m. at the Women's Club of Minneapolis on beautiful Loring Park. We'll be celebrating the legacy and future of Twin Cities Pride as we crown our 2022 Grand Marshals. Some of the best vocalists in the Twin Cities will rock you with 5 decades of LGBTQAI+ anthems. You'll be entertained by Twin Cities music legends The R Factor with special guests Aaron Schwab and Lori Doken, with special guest appearance by the Golden Girls. Stay Golden 50 Years of Pride will be co-hosted by Bradley Traynor and burlesque icon Foxy Tan. There will be a surprise or two in store as well. Purchase your tickets at tcpride.org and locate under events under Grand Marshal Celebration and Pride Awards. Don't miss the Golden Happy Hour from 5:30 until 7 p.m. by adding Golden Happy Hour to your show ticket during registration. This sparkling social event includes priority parking, appetizers, a swag bag, and a celebratory champagne toast. Visit tcpride.org for details.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Dr. Emily Stein. She's a scientist and co-founder of Primal Health LLC, a biotech company focused on alleviating oral health disparities and improving the quality of life and longevity for its customers by producing innovative and cost-effective oral care products. And today we've been talking about daily dental care, and that's not an adjective or a verb. It's actually a noun. It's something you can actually take every day, and we've been talking about it for the full hour here, kind of the reasons why you want to be thinking about this product. Dr. Stein, if our listeners have more questions and want to reach you for more information, what's the best way to do that?
Sure. So log on and Google primalhealthllc.com. We have a Contact Us button at the top of the website, and that'll take you to a page that contains our phone number or a message. And we get that emails sent to us instantaneously, and we're happy to respond.
And so people can obtain this product through you.
Through us on our website or on Amazon. Acumen Group even offers it through their website.
Okay. All right. So again, it's a so people who are driving or out shopping or whatever listening to the show, you've got a container and it's got tablets in it.
90
tablets. Okay. So it's just like any other supplement maybe that a person may be taking for other things.
Yep.
It's doesn't require a prescription.
Nope.
So it's something you can go on Amazon, go on your website, find it, purchase it, and then the dosing that you're recommending is 1 or 2 tablets after each meal, preferably after you brush your teeth.
Correct.
So that way it has its most impact maybe? Or,
correct.
Okay, got it. However, when you can't brush your teeth or floss, it's also great to have done, to take these 2 after a meal.
Oh, yeah, especially on a plane.
Right.
You get fuzzy teeth after all those meals. Just pop one of those, suck on it for a while, and I guarantee it'll feel a lot cleaner.
Right. It's in my mind, I'm thinking about all these different interactions and transactions and chemical processes that are happening in the mouth, and like you say, the bacteria is eating sugars or eating things, and then it's excreting its byproduct. Then is an acid.
Major acids,
which if you've been listening to your dentist, the dentist always says acids are what can destroy enamel and can really affect your mouth. So if we can control that acid buildup, then that again is going to help improve your health.
True. And from a microbiome standpoint, again, there I threw out that very tricky word.
We know what that means now.
Yeah. The more acidic your microenvironment of the mouth becomes, the more you're able to grow things you don't want to grow, which are yeasts, like Candida loves certain acids to live in. Cariogenic, which means cavity-causing bacteria, actually love to live and can tolerate living in acid. So they're facilitating basically they're basically taking over your mouth the more acid that's made.
Mm-hmm. And as we talked earlier, you want to try to keep your body in a balance.
Yes.
Where you have the good in balance with the bad, and when bad things happen when the bad overpopulate.
Correct.
And whether it's in your gut or it's in your mouth, and a lot of thinking now in healthcare is that we're not just a bunch of components or systems. Everything is affected. And as we've been talking about off the air, which are great conversations, I sure appreciate that. But oral health is tied to so many other diseases and comorbidities and things.
Yes.
Would you mind talking? We only have a couple, about 3 more minutes left.
Sure.
About talking about how important it is to start there, and what the impact is on the rest of the body and other diseases that may come about from an unhealthy oral environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually frankly terrifying. I'm going to go rattle off this list, okay?
Okay.
But the microbes don't stay put, right? And if they create a leaky environment, they're going to go inside. And so what we do know is the risks of getting certain kinds of cancers, esophageal, or certain kinds of soft palate solid tumors increases dramatically. Pneumonia, chronic kidney disease, diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, and now dementia. So it's not just a mouth cardiovascular thing. It extends way beyond that into a mouth system thing.
Wow. And you mentioned dementia.
Yes.
And we see that in our practice. I mean, it's the epidemic of the elderly. It
sure is.
Is dementia, and it's just a horrible condition. I mean, we say you have 2 deaths when you lose the ability to know who your family is, and the family goes through the suffering that involves. I mean, it's just so hard to lose somebody, and yet they're there. And then, of course, when they pass, if there's one thing I think I wish we could solve. Is that dementia, because that is just such a horrible, and it's a long lasting, and some of the dementias, it's 10, 15 years long. So it's tough. So it's interesting that this that what we're learning and what we can do to take care of ourselves on a preventative basis can really make a potentially an impact down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Particularly there's this one organism that lives below the gum line, causes gum disease. His name is Porphyromonas gingivalis. It's now been linked significantly to increased risk factors for pancreatic cancer and for dementia, particularly of the Alzheimer's type.
Right. We have a lot of healthcare professionals that listen to the show, and we were talking off the air about doing the pH strips.
Yes.
You can first morning urine, or you can even put it in your mouth and get a sense for that. And these little increments are logarithmic, aren't they? I mean, yeah. So you want to stay in that neutral or zone, which is whatever 6.0 or whatever that is.
Yeah, 7 to. I liked 7 to 7.5.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, because 6 is more acidic, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people can test themselves.
Absolutely.
And again, these strips are cheap. You can get them
Amazon.
on. So when you go to buy your product, go ahead and buy some pH strips at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can help monitor your health, because you don't want to be in an acidic state.
Correct.
Either first morning urine or in your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was at Stanford, one of the easiest ways to, we're in immunology on the rheumatology side. So one of the fastest ways to activate immune cells is by adding acid.
Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the end of the show. I wish we had more time. No, we got to have you back if you're interested to come back, because I know I'm going to get a lot of calls and texts here after the show. We're nearing the end of the show, folks, and I want to thank Dr. Emily Stein, co-founder of Primal Health LLC, a biotech company focused on alleviating oral health disparities and improving the quality of life and longevity for its customers. All right, Dr. Emily. So how do people get a hold of you if they have more questions?
Simply go to primalhealthllc.com.
All right. We hope you enjoyed today's show, folks. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can always reach us by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Please join us again next Saturday at noon for another live broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, choose to live well.